Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm doing a 2008 Lexus Gx470 transmission drain and fill. Out front here we've got pretty much everything you're going to need. You might not need some of this stuff, but I'm going to be replacing a couple components. So let's start off by going to do a drain and fill. You're going to at least need a case of genuine Toyota ATFWS. When you drain the transmission pan, you're going to probably see around 3 to 4 quarts come out. So at the bare minimum, you're going to take out the 3 or 4 quarts and replace exactly what comes back out. Do this while the vehicle's cold. Let it sit overnight on ramps. So you have your fluid that you're putting in and the truck will have the same temperature. So when you drain it, you could just put back exactly what goes back in. At the end, you'll want to still check the level just in case you were low beforehand, but at least you'll know you'll be back to where you were originally. So we've got the ATFWS. You're going to need either, a cheap pump like this. This is like 12 bucks at AutoZone. I've got the nicer one that hooks up to a drill. This is a Tool Guys Republic or something. So you can screw in to where the fill plug goes. There's different attachments. I like using this. Here are the parts you're going to need. These are about like $1 a piece. So this is the only thing you'll actually need to get from Amazon, eBay, or the dealer. A gasket. So that's that. I'm replacing mine, so I've got a new check valve or check plug. That's the drain plug for the transmission, in case you need that number. I'll be replacing my fill plug. You can get these on eBay from a Toyota dealer with the O-ring you're going to need. You'll see it says WS World Standard, so you know, WS. This was like $8, so not too bad to replace that. You're going to need a ratchet with a 14mm socket. You're going to need a shallow 24mm. For ease, I'm using a long reach 1/2-inch drive. And then to check your fluid level, you're going to need a 5mm Allen, not Torx, Allen. And obviously, you'll need get one of these at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever they sell paint at. It's like $3. So, you can get this size or the next size up. Measure what comes out. 3-4 quarts. Let it sit level. You're always going to want to put a little extra back out. So, if you get 3 quarts come out when you empty, put back like 3.5 or so. That way, when you go through the check procedure, bring it up to 115 degrees. You open the check valve. You'll want a nice trickle, like a slow little stream coming out. So if you have a little extra, you'll dump it off, close it back up. If nothing comes out, then you have to add more. Your system was low. Make sure the car is running when you do this. It's going to be running. You'll have to have a scan tool hooked up to it, check the temperature, and open that valve up. Don't do it while the vehicle's off. I've seen people do it while the vehicle is off. That is 100% not correct. All right, well, I'll get started, show you where everything's at. And this is pretty much it. Replace your crush washers. They're so cheap. You're just kind of petty at that point. Figure out when you want to do it. Order this stuff. Get a bunch of washers. I got a whole bag full of washers and bolts that I just like to have on hand. So always start with your fill plug. That's the first bolt you're going to try to crack loose. Here's your trans cross member right here, directly above. You'll see it right there. That is going to be your 24 millimeter. It's right there. So there's the drain pan, cross member, straight up. It's the only, zoom in on it. There you go. It's the only 24 millimeter bolt in that general area. I'm going to open up. There's going to be a little resistance. That is the O-ring. That's a good part to replace. If you don't replace the bolt, get the O-ring. It's only $1. I just cracked that loose. That is your drain plug. Open that up. I'm just going to get an extra bucket in case more comes out. You see I got a bunch of fluid on my pan. That is PB Blaster surface shield undercoating. You want to, if you're in the salt belt or any area that gets salted, these vehicles are prone to rust issues, so you're going to want to undercoat these, non-rubberized undercoating. Okay, so you can see I got a little red hue in there. This isn't horrible, but it's definitely never been done before, so I won't be doing a full flush. One important note: if you have an older vehicle, high mileage, you don't know anything about the past history of the transmission, make sure you dump this into a clean container. Save your fluid. If it starts to slip, any problems happen after you do the drain and fill, save your fluid, because you can put back the old fluid in it, which has the clutch material in it, which will eliminate your problems. So you could just put this stuff back in and go back to the square one again, or put half of it back and try putting a little bit of new in there, vice versa. Now, I've never heard of anybody having problems from a small drain and fill. Only people I know who've had issues were from forced trans flushes, or if they've emptied the entire system on a high mileage vehicle and they put all new stuff in. So here you'll see I didn't get that much. I've got 2.5 quarts. So I'm going to let this drain, and I'll be putting 3 quarts back in. You see, 2.5, and I'll be doing 3 back in, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to replace the drain plug right now. You're going to see there's a flat side and a rounded side. The flat side goes like that on the bolt. The rounded side will go up towards the threads, and this will mate with the transmission pan. So this is done. This won't be coming out again until the next time I do a drain and fill. Right now I'll just tighten it up a little bit, then I'll torque it to spec later. I'll take a picture or do a screenshot in the video of the torque specs, but you know, nice, good and tight, kind of like a oil pan. You know, you don't want to hammer down on it. Not something you're using an impact on. To feel nice and tight. Here is the fill plug, and you'll see the position for the O-ring. There's a slot for it down there where it fits in. Remember to replace your O-ring. Really cheap. You don't have to replace the fill plug like I'm doing. I'm just meticulous like that, and I like to do it. But yeah, you got to see that. Now you can see I have my the fill plug adapter for the Republic Tool Guys thing. I'll attach my line there, and then I'll pump directly in. Now, if you have the standard pump, you'll do just, you know, tuck that hose up in there and just start pumping away. So right now I got about, looks like 2.6 quarts out, and I'm still going to be doing my 3 quarts back in. Alright, and you'll see my setup: hose, to the drill going up into the vehicle. And I'll be pumping away. Get back to you after 3. Alright, so after the refill, when you go to do the check process, this is the scanner I'm using. Nothing fancy, like a $200 AutoZone one. See, I got the transmission. It's this is about the temperature outside. The truck is cool. It's only gonna take a few minutes to warm up. You could cycle the transmission with the foot on the brake, just sitting here. Go from reverse, neutral, drive, down to low, and then back up. You're gonna want to be in park, and you're gonna open the check valve and make sure you get that trickle. I'll try to get that on camera for you, and then I'm going to seal it back up with a new check valve and crush washer. Alright, just waiting for the temperature to go. Got somebody up in the truck. Alright, so I was not able to get the fluid check on film. It was just me. When I went to do it, I was a little low. I added an additional 4th quart, and then I had a heavy stream at 115 to 118 degrees. Now you wait till that trickles, so heavy flow, then it'll start to light stream, and then it'll start to stutter right before it drips. Close it up. 15 foot-pounds. 15 foot-pounds. And the fill plug up there, the 24 millimeter, is going to be 29 foot-pounds. And that is it. The fluid was really dark, so what I'm going to do is drive this around. When it's time for an oil change, I'm going to do the same procedure again, except next time I think I'm going to replace my gasket. It looks a little dry rotted up there. So I'll do a pan drop, replace the filter, and do that. So I'll get that whole thing on camera. But very easy. You know, make sure what I would suggest is whatever comes out of the pan, when you drain it, put at least a full quart extra into the system and go from there. Alright, so hopefully this was helpful and you got everything. Just remember, when you open this up, heavy flow, and I believe the window for the temperature should be 115 degrees to 130 degrees. Best to do this at cold. Takes about 10 minutes from idle, assuming you're 70-80 degrees outside. You can also cycle it through the gears, just sitting there, put it in drive, neutral, have it move around a little bit. But when you do this, car running and in park. All right, so take care.